Deep in the mist-shrouded swamps of the Congo Basin, in the marshy and unexplored regions of the Likuala swamp, local tribes whisper of a creature that defies explanation. They call it Emela-Ntouka, which in the Lingala language means the elephant killer. It is said to dwell in the most remote wetlands of the Republic of the Congo, moving silently beneath the murky water, feared by every creature that crosses its path. For generations, the stories have been passed down, of a monster so strong and territorial that even elephants fall before it. Explorers, missionaries, and later cryptozoologists would come to these lands hoping to separate truth from myth, but the swamp gives up its secrets slowly. According to early accounts from French colonial officers and local chiefs, Emela-Ntouka was described as a massive, solitary beast larger than a buffalo, with a thick, smooth hide and a single horn rising from its head. The creature was said to inhabit rivers and lakes, feeding on plants but attacking anything that ventured too close. One French inspector, Lucien Blancou, recorded that the local pygmies feared the beast more than any other animal in the forest. It was not hunted, it was not followed, and only the brave dared to speak of it. Those who claimed to have seen it described a creature roughly the size of an elephant, with 4 stocky legs and a long, muscular tail like that of a crocodile. Its skin was hairless and grey or reddish-brown, glistening when it rose from the swamp. The most distinctive feature was its horn, sometimes described as ivory white, other times dark and rough like keratin. Witnesses said it was capable of piercing the belly of an elephant or hippopotamus in a single charge. In 1981, 3 elephants were found dead in a Congolese river, their tusks intact, but their abdomens torn open by deep puncture wounds. Locals insisted this was the work of Emela-Ntouka. Whether the story was embellished or real, it only deepened the legend. The Likuala swamp is vast. Hundreds of square kilometers of flooded forest, dense vegetation, and murky water. It is one of the most inaccessible ecosystems on the planet, a place where modern humans rarely venture. It is here, among the silence broken only by the calls of unseen birds and the splash of hidden creatures, that Emela-Ntouka is said to roam. It moves at dusk and dawn, submerging itself beneath the water, feeding on vines and aquatic plants, surfacing only when the light is dim. The pygmies of the region, who know the forest better than anyone, claim the beast is real. They describe its footprints, large, round, 3-toed impressions found on muddy banks. When asked to draw it, they depict a thick-bodied animal with a horn on its snout, neither a hippopotamus nor an elephant. Western explorers began hearing these accounts in the early 20th century, but it was in the 1980s that the legend gained international attention. Cryptozoologist Roy Makal, already famous for his expeditions in search of the Mokele Mbembe, another Congo cryptid, gathered dozens of eyewitness reports of Emela-Ntouka. Makal was intrigued by the consistency of the descriptions. To him, the stories suggested the existence of a real undiscovered species, perhaps a semi-aquatic rhinoceros. Others speculated that Emela-Ntouka might be a living dinosaur, a survivor of the Cretaceous period, similar to the horned ceratopsians like Monoclonius or Centrosaurus. Makal himself admitted this idea stretched credibility, but refused to dismiss it completely. He argued that the Congo Basin, vast and largely unexplored, could conceal creatures unknown to science, just as the okapi was once dismissed as myth. Skeptics, however, point out that the dinosaur theory faces insurmountable problems. No fossil evidence of ceratopsians has ever been found in Africa, and the climate, evolution, and geological changes since the age of dinosaurs make survival impossible. The descriptions of Emela-Ntouka do not even match ceratopsians well. It lacks a frill, has only one horn, and is semi-aquatic. Scientists instead lean toward misidentification, perhaps a known animal seen in poor visibility, or an exaggerated version of the forest rhinoceros. Yet this explanation leaves questions unanswered. Why do local people, across vast areas of Central Africa, all describe nearly the same creature? Massive, horned, aggressive, and capable of killing elephants? Why do they distinguish it clearly from the rhino and hippo, both of which they know intimately? Eyewitness accounts describe behavior that seems distinct. The Emela-Ntouka is said to be solitary and territorial, attacking intruders, even elephants, when they enter its domain. It spends most of its time submerged, emerging only to feed or to cross to another pool. It is not hunted, for the locals say that its flesh is poisonous. They believe killing it brings misfortune, and that only a fool would try. Some stories claim its horn has spiritual power, able to wound even spirits or deflect bullets, while others simply regard it as a dangerous animal best avoided. In the late 20th century, several expeditions ventured into the Likuala swamp and neighboring regions. They returned with sketches, footprint casts, and countless testimonies, but never a specimen. Some found three-toed prints in the mud, large and deep, too big for known animals. A few explorers heard distant bellows echoing from the marsh at night, low, rumbling sounds that did not match any known species. Still, photographs and physical proof remained elusive. The swamp swallowed everything. Tracks washed away in the rain, sounds distorted by the echo of trees and water, and sightings fleeting, always just out of reach. To the local communities, however, proof was unnecessary. To them, the creature is part of their world, as real as the river that feeds their canoes. Their stories are not tales of wonder, but of caution. Children are warned not to go near certain pools, where Emela-Ntouka might rest. Hunters know the signs of its presence: the crushed reeds, the strange tracks, the silence that falls when it is near. When missionaries first arrived, they dismissed these stories as superstition. Yet over time, they too began to wonder how such consistent descriptions could emerge from isolated tribes, separated by miles of swamp and forest. Modern technology has reignited curiosity. Satellite mapping shows vast areas of the Congo that remain unvisited. Drones and camera traps could, in theory, capture evidence if the creature exists. Conservationists argue that even if Emela-Ntouka is myth, protecting its supposed habitat is vital. These swamps are home to endangered species like forest elephants, lowland gorillas, and countless birds. Myths, in this sense, serve a purpose. They preserve respect for nature. Those who still seek the truth believe the creature, if real, may be a relic species of rhinoceros, perhaps one that adapted to a semi-aquatic lifestyle in dense rainforest. It could be a descendant of ancient lineages that survived longer than expected in isolated ecosystems. Africa's fossil record is incomplete, and its living biodiversity continues to surprise scientists. In 2005, a new species of monkey was discovered in Tanzania. In 2013, a previously unknown carnivore, the olinguito, was identified in South America after years of misclassification. If such discoveries are still possible, perhaps the legend of Emela-Ntouka deserves at least an open mind. The skeptics remain firm. They argue that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and none has surfaced. The supposed elephant killings could have natural explanations: disease, tusk fights, or even human intervention. The reported tracks might belong to hippos or elephants distorted by mud. In a world where camera phones and drones can record every corner of the planet, how could a creature of this size remain unseen? The answer may lie in the swamp itself, a vast, labyrinthine wilderness that defies exploration. Even today, vast stretches of the Likuala remain uncharted. Many villages there are reachable only by canoe after days of travel through mosquito-infested channels. A large reclusive animal could, in theory, evade detection for centuries. For believers, Emela-Ntouka stands as a reminder of how much we still do not know about our world. For scientists, it represents the tension between curiosity and evidence. For the people of the Congo, it is a symbol of nature's power, something to respect, not conquer. Each group, in its own way, keeps the legend alive. Whether monster or misunderstood mammal, the Emela-Ntouka continues to occupy a shadowed space between myth and reality. If you ever find yourself deep in the Congo basin, where the water glows green beneath the trees and the air hums with unseen life, remember that not all mysteries are meant to be solved. Some are meant to remind us of wonder. Perhaps somewhere beneath the surface of those ancient swamps, a horned silhouette still stirs the water. And as long as stories are told around the fires of the forest, the Emela-Ntouka will never truly disappear. If you enjoyed this story, do not forget to subscribe and watch the full video on our channel to uncover more mysterious creatures from around the world. because the truth sometimes is stranger than legend itself.